Hello everyone. Welcome to On Deck with Mercury. I'm Vienna Town Manager Mercury Payton, and our topic tonight is Liberty Amendments Month. It's an event that was started last year out of a painful chapter in American history around 2020 when there was a lot of tension and strife. And it is our town's collective desire to bring people together and to foster mutual respect and understanding. So today, as we prepare for our second Liberty Amendments Month celebration, we are optimistic that our new and annual tradition will ultimately lead to a national observance with the aid and help of Congressman Connolly. So before we begin tonight's panel discussion, let's take a brief look back at last year's event, which explains what Liberty Amendments Month is all about.
The Town of Vienna Multicultural Festival, the culminating Liberty Amendments Month event that celebrates our community's unique cultural differences and common bonds.
Hearing an audience of, adults and kids and people from all across the community sing Ghanaian chants and do these big African dance moves together, that was really beautiful. It was just such a visual representation of community.
The month-long celebration is rooted in Town Manager Mercury Payton's desire to bring the community together to foster mutual respect and understanding among the town's residents in the wake of racial strife that plagued the nation in the summer of 2020.
We should be able to voice our opinions with one another and still love one another.
He suggested that we, the people, have more in common than the things that divide us, a message that resonated with the staff and community, and Liberty Amendments Month was born in the town of Vienna.
He came to the town staff with this idea very early on, right when Juneteenth was recognized as a state holiday. And he said, I think this is really important and I think we can do more.
Mr. Payton thought it would be fitting to begin the town's first ever Liberty Amendments Month celebration on June 19th, or Juneteenth, the day that commemorates the 1865 emancipation of enslaved people in the United States. That event was held in partnership with First Baptist Church, the town's oldest and historically Black house of worship.
Let us use this moment as an opportunity for us to remember, to reflect, to rejoice, and to reimagine, and lastly, to rededicate ourselves to the work of advancing truth and justice.
Each week was devoted to one of the 4 amendments that granted liberties to people who were previously excluded from the U.S. Constitution.
So these 4 Liberty Amendments, the 13th, which abolished slavery, the 14th, which provided citizenship and due process to all persons born or naturalized in America, the 15th, which granted all men the right to vote regardless of their ethnicity, and the 19th, which granted women the right to vote, was one of many monumental corrective actions our great nation has taken to move us closer to that reality of that more perfect union. This is why I love America.
Vienna residents loved the idea of Liberty Amendments Month so much, the focus quickly mushroomed from 4 distinctive town-sponsored events related to each of the 4 amendments to multiple events of various sizes throughout the month. They ranged from theme-related educational story time for young children, to panel discussions for older children and adults, to major events for the entire community. They were sponsored by the town and 30 churches, businesses, and community organizations.
The way that our community came together to present Liberty Amendments Month really testifies to the fact that we have a community of people who want to help. They know that we're stronger together.
By the time Liberty Amendments Month was over, more than 21,000 people attended 65 educational and commemorative events from June 19th to July 19th, which the Vienna Town Council proclaimed Liberty Amendments Day.
Although it may be difficult to comprehend how things were for Americans before these amendments were passed, it is important to remember this history and understand it and appreciate the rights we have today.
I don't know of other month-long events that really look at our country's history and our Constitution and bring people together in the way that this has. I think that the lasting impact is going to be that more people are going to be working together that would have never necessarily crossed paths across the community, between churches, between nonprofits, between historic Vienna and the town, and Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops, between businesses. It really connected all of these people in really unique ways, and it developed these important relationships.
Mutually beneficial relationships championed by Mercury Payton and his vision to bring the community together and celebrate what binds us.
Joining me tonight are 4 people who helped lead last year's event and are actively involved again in this year's planning. So first I'd like to introduce to my left is our First Baptist Church pastor, Reverend Vernon Walton. So hi, how are you this evening?
Good to be with you again, Mercury.
All right, thank you for joining us. I know you're a very busy man, but I appreciate you spending time with us this evening.
You call, I come.
And then to my direct left is our Parks and Recreation Events Coordinator Lily Widman. So hi.
Hi, Mercury.
I see you all the time.
Yes, you do. Always
So-
darkening your door.
That's right. So thank you for being with us tonight.
Happy to be here.
And then to my direct right is Councilmember Chuck Anderson. So hello, how are you?
Hi, Mercury.
I think we saw each other last night, didn't we?
Yeah, for better or worse.
And then to my far right is Stacy Say. She is the administrative assistant at First Baptist Church.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good to see you again
Good
as well.
to see you again.
Right. So last year's event, it kind of captures the spirit of Vienna and what we were trying to do. And the truth about it is that we really didn't know how all that was going to come together or received in the community. And after all of our efforts, I think there were over 60 events and 20, 30,000 people or more who attended. And so looking back at what it was and what it is now, what resonates with you with regard to Liberty Amendments Month in our community? And that's for any of you all to answer. I'm looking at Mr. Walton, so he's like he's ready to say something.
Well, let me just say, first of all, we really cannot underestimate your vision and the fact that you brought this to Town Council. And when I reflect on the events of last year, I'm just amazed at how the community received it. You shared some numbers. Clearly, there were people even from outside of Vienna that this idea resonated with. And so we had tons of people, thousands of people to come and to share over a number of events. And I really think that speaks to the fabric of not only our community, but of our nation, even with all of its challenges.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And thinking about the time period that we were in and all the tension that was surrounding it, and thinking about what we as a community could do and how we would think about it, and not let that moment just be a moment in time, but have it to be something where it could be a catalyst where we could grow closer together, understand our differences, be unified around our Constitution, and respect each other.
Absolutely.
I think that was what I wanted us to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. You said
Go ahead,
like you,
Lily.
Oh, Lily. Okay, Lily.
I guess what resonated with me the most, and I touched on that a little bit on the video we all just watched, but is the way that people came together, the different organizations we got to work with, the power of our volunteers, our planning committee, our advisory committee. It's a remarkable group of people who really put a monumental amount of work to put together those 65 programs, and it's just a special thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and you almost everything that was accomplished, you had your hand in it in one way or the other, and you made sure that everything came together. And I like how we've talked a lot, just in passing about how different community groups came together, different organizations that wouldn't necessarily ordinarily, have an opportunity to kind of interact. And so new friendships and bonds were created, and a large part of you just pulling people together and getting people in a room to kind of coordinate and collaborate and to just enjoy this event together. So I appreciate all your work on that.
That's a joy for me, so thank you.
Anything that you would?
Okay. So we often spend
a lot of time, those of us who are deeply involved in something like this, just doing it, and we rarely reflect on what we've done. And last week I had a chance to go back and try to recreate a history of how Liberty Amendments Month came to be. And I started looking at our nascent Liberty Amendments Month compared to other holidays like Mother's Day, Labor Day. And what struck me was how quickly it grew in the town of Vienna. It went from Mercury's crazy idea that somehow got passed through the legislature to probably the most inclusive community-wide event that we've ever had in terms of participation. And that happened in less than 6 months.
Wow.
And so we should probably give ourselves a little bit credit and pat ourselves on the back. And the reason I believe it did, just as Mother's Day and Labor Day, is because it's fundamentally a wonderful idea to celebrate our Constitution and highlight the amendments in the Constitution that made us a better, greater, more inclusive country. And so that's why I think it grew so quickly and it is so popular.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. I mean, it's powerful. Yeah.
It is, and I think the thing that really was impactful for me is I feel like pre-Liberty Amendments Month, my experience a lot of time is that we all kind of operate in our silos, but somehow the Liberty Amendments Month concept just spoke to all of us in our separate silos and brought us out. And so then we were all kind of farming together. And so sometimes we agreed, sometimes we disagreed. I think sometimes we did too much, sometimes we did not enough, but we were kind of in it together. And so it was a good opportunity to say, we don't have to always agree, we can be respectful, and to honor each of those amendments. It was just really a great process, and I feel like it was a uniting process.
Yes, and thinking back on what you're talking about and how it came together, even before Liberty Amendments Month, we had some conversations in town about some of the events that occurred, and some of them were at the community center where we had a full room, having hard discussions about what was going on. And so I think as we consider Liberty Amendments Month and the celebrations kind of being almost the culmination of a lot of those conversations. Sometimes you can have those conversations, and then what happens next? Well, what happened next for Vienna was Liberty Amendments Month and the whole celebration around that. So we took those conversations that people had, and then there were more conversations, more interactions, more experiences shared that people had, that it was good for us to learn about each other. And then it built the momentum, actually. We got the Liberty Amendment celebration that whole month. It was phenomenal and outstanding. You make a good point. When you're in the middle of it, you're thinking about making sure that it all goes well. But now reflecting back, it was really a tremendous effort on the part of so many different people to come together and to be willing to share their time and their story. Was outstanding. So planning is already underway for this next second event this year, the second time going through this, and it's June 18th through July 19th. And Lily, as always, you're coordinating the activities with the help of several dozen of your closest friends here and partners. So what can we expect this time around? So now we've had a year, just as Councilmember Anderson mentioned, 6 months, and then boom, we're in it. So now we've had a year to kind of think about, okay, what do we want this to look like? So how is it going to be maybe a little bit different? What's some of the planning and thoughts behind that?
So we spent a lot of time sort of behind the scenes talking, especially this group, talking about how last year went and evaluating. And then, of course, our larger committee as well talked quite a lot. So if you do the math, 65 events in 30 days.
And you're orchestrating all of them.
It's more than 2 events a day.
Right.
And a lot of what we came out with was saying this might not be sustainable for future years, and also maybe there's value in looking at how we can simplify our celebrations, how we can make it easier for the folks in our community and our greater community to plan when they're going to come and join us for Liberty Amendments Month events. So we worked with our Liberty Amendments Month Leadership Committee, which Councilmember Anderson and Stacy are both on, as well as many others who've come together to help support these events, as well as with our planning committee, which has I think about 130 people on it from about 30 organizations around town. And we came up with a new event structure which will kick off with the Juneteenth celebration at First Baptist Church. We'll have an opening ceremony at 11:30 a.m. for Liberty Amendments Month. And then each week we'll have a Tuesday kids event at the Town Green at 10 a.m. We'll have a Wednesday keynote and education event at the Community Center at 6:30 p.m. And then on Saturdays, we'll hold a mini fest at the Town Green from 3 to 8 p.m. So those will just happen consistently each week. Folks know they can come and enjoy them. They all look very different from one another because they're focusing on the different amendments. So our first week we'll celebrate the 13th Amendment, the second, the 14th, the third, the 15th, and then the final week, the 19th Amendment. Right. And all of that information is captured in our lovely printed calendar brochures, which we hope you all will come and check out. They're available at the Freeman Store, the Community Center, the library, anywhere you could get them, as well as a nice summary of our event structure in the beginning. Sure. We also have all of our events captured on our website at www.viennava.gov/liberty. So all of that information is there. The other piece of the event that is a little bit different, and I do want to give Councilmember Anderson credit for coming up with this name. He always has good ideas for names in our meetings. We're also holding Liberty Amendments Month pop-up events. And those are events that aren't necessarily tied to a specific time or day of the week that people can enjoy just about any time. There's all different kinds of events taking place under that umbrella. One of them is Liberty Amendments Month Bingo, which I brought the card with me today. So this is a really fun way for our businesses to participate and who have participated. It's got a full card of things that you can check off, like attending a mini fest, attending our July 1st Independence Day celebration, or even supporting a local business. Once you get 5, you get to turn it in at the community center. You get a chance to win a gift card from a local business. We had over 200 gift cards donated to this from local businesses. Amazing. So I want to thank the Vienna Business Association for putting this together. So that's a great opportunity. We'll have a Liberty Amendments Month mural, a temporary mural on the side of the library wall. That's another pop-up event. Let's see, what else? We have museum exhibits at the community center and here at the Freeman Store. So there's a lot of great pop-up events that you can attend almost at any time. Right. Those will be a lot of fun.
Sure, absolutely. And then also this year, one of the focuses that we try to illuminate is Independence Day being at the heart or in the middle of Liberty Amendments Month, and so we have a naturalization ceremony that we're doing.
Yes, yeah. Right. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. So this year our Independence Day celebration will be July 1, Friday, July 1, and it will feature the full U.S. Navy concert band. So. Wow. Really exciting, yeah. It's a 65-person band, and I was on the phone with them the other day, and they were talking about the Star Spangled Banner and how they'll have a singer sing that, and then the full band will play it as well. And I was just imagining it, and it was like giving me shivers. This is going to be so cool. Right. So they'll be there on July 1st, and then the next day, July 2nd, we'll have our Liberty Amendments Month mini fest for the 14th Amendment, and that will feature a part of that event will be a naturalization ceremony. Right. 15 different citizens will be naturalized from 15 different countries around the world.
That is amazing.
So excited about that as well.
Excellent. And of course, it all starts with Juneteenth at Vienna's own First Baptist Church. And so Pastor Walton and Stacy, maybe share with us a little bit about what to expect on that wonderful event.
Well, again, we're excited to be a part of this grand celebration as the oldest church in Vienna, primarily historically black congregation. We are really just excited to be, the kickoff place. There are lots of things that are happening this year. We will have the Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band that will be on stage. And so there's going to be great music. In addition to that, I believe that this is also not only a time of celebration, but it's a time of education for us as well, time of reflection. And so we're being very intentional about having individuals to tell the story throughout the day. So there will be periods of storytelling that will be going on throughout the entire day. And we'll have people reading from books as well. And so there'll be an opportunity for children to hear stories and to ask questions as they're hearing the stories. We have tons of vendors that will be sharing with us. There's some educational vendors. There's some individuals who are selling their goods. There are some young entrepreneurs, some young children that are starting new businesses that will be on display. And so we're really excited about that brand new piece this year. There are lots of things. I'm sure Stacy has some things that I've left out that will be taking place that day. But we're really excited. What did I miss, Stacy?
So it really is going to be a full day. It's been interesting watching the evolution of Juneteenth celebrations that we've held at the church over the years, because they just continue to grow and grow. And so one of the things that we've been doing most of the day to day is like, where can we fit something else? Because the interest is still continuing even as we get a couple of days out. We'll have tons of representation from our community helpers. So the Vienna police will be there. The sheriff's department will be there doing free child IDs. The fire department will be there, and we'll have a fire truck out front that young people can explore, and they promised me they'd have some wonderful goodies for anybody who checked them out. We'll have a photo booth at the event, so you can stop by the photo booth and take pictures, and then I think you have to go online to get the actual image, but they'll be available for you as well. Tons and tons of vendors, tons and tons of other community helpers and partners. And as Pastor Walton said, we have our Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band. But the one thing that he completely forgot, which is taking up all of the space in our parking lot right now, is that we are having a classic car and truck show once again. We did that a few pre-COVID, and then last year we were trying to make sure we had enough room to space things up, but we felt like this year we could bring it back. We're expecting at least 50 classic cars and trucks in the parking lot for you all to peruse. And then later in the day, there'll be an award. There will be a series of awards for the car show participants as well. And we have amusements. So I feel like with the amusements that will be
food trucks.
So you can enjoy good music, you can eat, the children will have lots to do. Lily will have activities for them as well that will teach them about the different amendments. So they need to make sure they stop by the town table while they're there as well. They can learn from the community helpers, from our story time, then they can just have fun with lots of bouncy amusements. Men and women who are into cars have lots to peruse with the classic cars and trucks. The vendors, so just bring your money, bring your time. The weather's supposed to be great, so I'm just really looking forward to another wonderful Juneteenth celebration.
Sounds very exciting. A great way to kick off the month. And then throughout the month, we'll have educational events that focus on specific parts of history and race and culture as they relate to the 4 Liberty Amendment months. And so, Councilmember Anderson, you and Judge Steve Shannon have headed this effort up. Maybe tell us a little bit about what you have in store.
Well, before I talk about specific events, let me say just something about the sort of universe that we put together and why I think it really reflects what Liberty Amendments Month is all about. If you look at the different presenters who are going to be speaking to us over this 1 month period, they're very diverse. We've got high school students lined up who will tell us about their capstone history projects. We've got a black musician who decided that his life's mission would be to befriend members of the KKK. We've got a notable women's suffragettes panel, and we have a Fairfax County historian. Then we go to topics. We're talking about important topics, the topics of race and gender, and also constitutional history. And finally, we're going to be hearing a lot about shared values. Values like the struggle in this country for equality, and the role that the political process has played in promoting liberty. That laws are actually a good thing if they're just laws, and that is what we as a nation really strive for. So now the the highlights. As Lily mentioned, the basic structure for the educational and speakers events are to have sort of a key event every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., generally at the community center. So this coming Wednesday, the week, or I guess next Wednesday, our first will be a two-part presentation. One, the aforementioned Madison High School capstone history projects. And I have seen these presentations. I went to Madison when the students gave them, and they are incredibly inspiring. The students were asked to take someone from history who bridged the years of slavery and freedom and to study them and then to propose a memorial. And some of the ideas of the memorials that they came up with are brilliant, I believe. I also learned last year that people, I think, learn more from young people and students than they do from old people like you and me. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then we're having Daryl Davis, the musicians and part-time investigator of the KKK. His presentation is called "How Can You Hate Me When You Don't Even Know Me?" That is going to be really special. Then the following Wednesday, June 29th, we have Heather Bollinger, who is with the Fairfax County Records, manager at the Fairfax County Courthouse. And she will bring with her archives that reflect the movement of liberty amendments through Vienna's history. For example, the list on which the names of the voters were written when Vienna voted not to secede in 1861. That is available. And back in those days, your name was put down on yay or nay. And so we have a record of who voted for and who voted against. So she'll be presenting those. Things like looking at deed books, where indeed the black section was separate from the Caucasian, and the paper was even a different color.
Wow.
Those records, when you look at them, speak in a way that just stories cannot. And that'll be very, very cool. Then the following Wednesday, January 6th, we have a viewing and panel discussion on race, the power of illusion. That one will be at the Patrick Henry Library.
It's at the community center.
Oh, it is at the community center. I thought it was at the. It's sponsored by the Patrick Henry Library.
And it's July.
And it's July. And I think I got the rest of it right. And our final big event, or next to final big event, is Wednesday, July 13th. That is at the community center, and that is a panel discussion on Mary Church Terrell, who was one of the leaders in the suffrage movement in the 1910s and 1920s. There is one more, a different type of event, where this one is not at the community center because it starts on a bus, and we go down to Occoquan to visit the Turning Point Suffragist Memorial and the Lucy Burns Museum Memorial. So that's a bus tour from about 10 to 3. Haven't tried this before. We're hopeful that it works because there are so many really cool places around that for future years we can visit and learn.
Wow. That's a long list of events. I think everyone will find something of interest, and will learn and grow and be richer for it. So I really appreciate the work that everyone's put to make all this happen. It's going to be a phenomenal, exciting month. And also I'd like to share a little bit about what's happened over this past year. And the way I like to do that is to kind of just share that when I first thought about this idea, I did have one crystallizing idea and goal in mind, and that is to create a teachable moment for the Vienna community. And Councilmember Anderson, you just mentioned a list of ways that we have a lot of teachable moments this year for our Liberty Amendments Month. And so we want to make sure that we have a mutual understanding and coming together of our community. And so apparently, Liberty Amendments Month has also resonated with state and national organizations. Over the last year, the event was recognized for excellence by the Virginia Municipal League. And it was also recognized by the National Association of Government Communicators and by our Congressional Legislative Delegation, which has expressed interest in proposing legislation to make Liberty Amendments Month a national month-long celebration. So this never could have happened without a collective effort from everyone here today and others who are not here. You mentioned a committee of 130, and behind those 130, there are probably another 100 supporting them in their effort. And so we would just like to thank everyone for all of their interest and concern and care about this event. The success of Liberty Amendments Month is also a testament of a loving community where we have a certain spirit about us that we enjoy here in Vienna that's unique, and I'm very grateful for that. We're a place where you have long-standing events like the Halloween parade and other events, but this is something that is so unique and different, where we get to share stories. And I just think about some stories that my mother shared with me last year that I had never heard of, family history stories. And I think there's a power in storytelling and sharing our experiences. And so I think that's what is the heart of Liberty Amendments Month, is continuing to tell the stories, because once we tell those stories, it becomes part of who we are. When I share a story with you, it becomes part of who you are. Right. When Lily shares a story with me, it becomes a part of who I am. And so it's that kind of connection point that I think makes Liberty Amendments Month exactly what it's supposed to be. And hopefully for many years to come, people will come together and share their stories and grow from one another. I mean, at least that's what my intent is, and hopefully that's what we will accomplish. So any last thoughts I'd like to share as we close this discussion? You all look ready to talk. We start with Stacy.
We'll start with Stacy. I'll just say that I'm really, really looking forward to the month. I've already marked my calendar. I'm especially excited about the educational programs. First of all, because we can just go and sit. I don't have to worry about making sure things go right. But the topics are amazing. So I'm looking forward to many of those. But I'm just excited that this is something that we can continue to tweak and perfect. It's kind of how we look at our country. We're always having to tweak and perfect.
So last year, when out of the blue, and you did not warn me, you asked me to be the town council representative for the Liberty Amendments Month. I was both honored and annoyed. But it didn't take me long to realize that although we do a lot of important work as town council members, trying to make our community a better place, this could potentially be the most important work I ever do. And it is in many respects our gift to the community. It is our gift to the state, and hopefully somewhere down the line our gift to the nation. And I'm just happy to see that the second year is well underway and as good, if not better, than the first, and look forward to many more years.
Oh, wow, so exciting.
I don't know how you follow that.
I know.
What he said. I just want to echo what Stacy and Councilmember Anderson said in terms of just my excitement to be a part of this really special and unique project, and excitement just to get my boots on the ground and get to be at these events and see all the magic happen.
Excellent. Pastor Walden.
Again, earlier I thanked you for your vision, but I would be remiss if I did not thank the town council for really embracing that vision, and for your staff, which is really made this vision become a reality. I'm excited about what is happening this month, and I'm excited about our participation. I think, as Councilman has said, this is indeed a gift not only to our community, but to our state, to the country, to the world. We all have a story to tell, and I think this month allows us collectively to share those stories. And while we may discover we have arrived from different ports and at different times, different places, the truth is we're all in it together now. And it requires us working together and making sense out of where we are if we're going to maintain the beauty of our nation and our Constitution. And that's what this democracy really is about. Understanding our differences, being able to work through and talk through those differences so that we, maintain a great deal of dignity and humanity toward one another. So I'm excited. Really.
Yes. I think we all are. Thank you, everyone, for taking time to share. This Saturday, hope to see everyone at First Baptist Church for the Juneteenth kickoff for Liberty Amendments Month. It will be a wonderful event. We're so excited about it, and really appreciate everyone taking time to watch this here this evening. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe week, and see everyone around town for Liberty Amendments Month. Everyone take care.